Hello, I fully understand the irony before you even think it of me posting this on my YouTube channel. I get it, so let's just get that out of the way. Having said that, this is so important because I want to show you why you don't need a YouTube channel. You don't need Instagram Reels. You don't need to dance on TikTok. You don't need a webinar. You don't even need a funnel. You don't need to know how to invest in crypto. I sure as hell don't. In order to be successful and to achieve what you're looking to achieve. And the intention behind this video, to make it very clear for you, is to allow you to achieve the freedom you're seeking, which I think ultimately comes down to freedom of choice. Of course, you want financial freedom, you want location freedom, you want time freedom, but I think all of that is encompassed by freedom of choice and being able to create something that fuels the kind of life you want to live. Correct me if I'm wrong. And for me, it's been a 7-year journey, start to finish, of having this channel, and it's been longer than that, but started doing videos intentionally, not just like random family videos and vlogs and stuff like that. I started doing them intentionally 7 years ago. So this is my 7-year anniversary. And in that time, I have done a lot of things that I thought I needed to do and I should do to grow my business and to build a brand. And so much of it was unnecessary. And I've explained this in recent videos that my business model and how I approach my business has never been simpler. I've never had more free time, and I've never been more peaceful or profitable in my business. And so if I can relay that to you earlier in your journey, that's why I'm making this video. So let me just give a little bit of context. I started this channel in this way 7 years ago, but prior to that, I had a business for about 4 years, working behind the scenes, never having a brand, and working with all different kinds of clients and really studying social media marketing before Instagram existed, before all of these different platforms existed. And I built my business to a place where I was so full with clients that I had no time and I couldn't take on any more clients. And so I kind of accidentally fell into YouTube. And the intention when I started this channel was not to build a big audience. It was to free up time for myself and to be able to pretty much duplicate myself so that I didn't have to keep answering the same questions from my clients. So I just started making tutorials, answering questions I was getting from my clients, sending them to them. And all of a sudden I was getting all these eyeballs on my content because not just my clients had those questions, but all these people from all over the world were seeking out those same answers, and they were finding me on YouTube and they were finding me on Google. So in that first year, I went from little old me here in Vancouver to having 3 million people view my content. Take a second to take that in. First and foremost, I don't need 3 million people to view my content. I'm super grateful, but the point of me saying that is that we get so caught up in thinking we need these massive audiences and all of the vanity metrics, and we need to do all of the things to be seen and to be visible, when in reality, my business was trucking along just fine, and I had built a very solid, incredible business that grew by word of mouth without ever being on social media. And I think the thing to understand is that there are a lot, I know this might sound weird, but there are a lot of businesses out there that don't even touch the online space, they don't touch social media, and they are very wildly successful without it. Now, am I saying don't use social media? No, because I think it's an incredible tool to make the impact that you're here to make. That's why I use it. Having said that, I think that there are so many options now, and there's so much pressure, and there's so much advice about what you need to be doing and the newest thing that you need to try and what makes a business work. And at the very core basics of it, all you need is a clear message. One clear message, one clear offer, one ideal client, and one reliable traffic source to get consistent clients in the door. Prior to ever being online, for me, I grew my business by doing good work. and my clients telling other people about that good work. And I kind of took that, and when I came online, all of a sudden that same thing applied, but now I was open to the world. I can't possibly serve everybody who sees my content, but it's been an incredible way for me to help a lot of more people through my free content. And then it's been an incredible way for me to deeply impact the people who are in my program. But I think it often works in reverse. And we focus so much on, I need a YouTube channel, I need to be on TikTok, I need to do all of these things in order to grow my business, when that is not the truth. And actually, if you do it in that order, it can hurt you. And I can say this from my experience. If I were to go back in time, I would have waited a little longer to start a YouTube channel. And this is how I work with the people that we serve inside my program. And the biggest thing that we harp on is, let's get really clear on your message and who you serve and what you need to have a successful business on your terms. How much revenue do you want to make? What does your profitability look like? How many clients does that actually look like on a yearly basis? Sometimes it's like 2-3 clients a month. Therefore, why are you shaking your butt on Instagram Reels trying to go viral? You don't need those. You don't need that. Of course, you can do things to build your credibility and you can do things to reach bigger audience. But one of the things that's happened over the years when it comes to social media is people have these incredible ideas, and oftentimes they come from having space, taking a pause, taking a breather, and actually having a whole life. Not just putting a pressure cooker on yourself to create content. I know for me, I make my worst content, and I don't really do this anymore, when I'm under pressure. When I feel like I have to or I need to. And the best content comes from space, to actually think it through and make it unique to you, and specifically for the person that you're trying to serve. Not for the whole world, but for the person that you deeply want to impact. And when that happens, when this amazing piece of content comes out, now all of these people start to copy it because nobody has the time or space to actually sit down and think through their content. So creating content is killing creativity. And I found myself in that trap a few times over the years. And that's why today I don't force myself to create content. I make content that feels really aligned with my values, my intent, and the mission behind my business. And it's business first, impact first, content feeds that. If you go content first and then try and figure out what your business is, it makes it a little bit more challenging because you're putting the cart before the horse. Now, am I saying that's not doable? Absolutely not. It's totally doable. It's how you want to live your life though. And there are so many things that I've done on this channel and on social media that when I look back, I go, what was I even thinking? And what was that for? And who was that for? And so when you don't have an idea of who you're speaking to and what you want to be known for, which ultimately is what the algorithms across platforms need to know. If you can't answer those two questions, who am I serving and who is this content for and what do I want to be known for? You're kind of throwing spaghetti at the wall and it's keeping you busy. And I will just broach this and plant this seed for you. Have you ever considered that maybe creating a bunch of content and being on all the platforms is coming from a place of deep-rooted scarcity, and layer this on top, a deep-rooted feeling that you're actually not worthy of success? Because if all you're doing and all you're spending your time on is creating content that's throwing spaghetti at the wall, on a subconscious level, you're sabotaging your own success because you're not taking the time to think through the kind of content you want to make to really build the legacy and impact that you want to have in the world. And so a lens to think through the content that you create and why you're creating it is this unique to me? Do I have a clear intent behind this? Why am I making this content? Is this actually necessary? And asking yourself, what do I want to do? What is my purpose? And what works? there's a lot of testing involved in business when you're getting started, and there's a lot of testing involved in the online space. You got to test things to see if they work. But prior to trying to do all of the things, you have to know if your messaging is clear and if that works. So it's better to test it on a kind of a smaller scale and with less ramifications than something like a YouTube channel, because I have a bunch of content that I made over the years that isn't really relevant to who I am speaking to now that I'm hyper clear on who my ideal viewer is and who my ideal client is in my business. And so it doesn't land for them, and that hurts engagement overall. So it's almost like I've had to rebuild over the last couple of years. And if I had just done that from day one, the trajectory would have been a lot more smooth. And I never would have sat there going, I wonder what I should make a video on this week, which I've done many times. But at this point, I don't. At this point, it's very easy to create content because I know exactly who I'm talking to, and I know exactly what they need, and I know exactly what my purpose is and what my mission is. So I just think it's important to understand businesses are built without all of those things. Businesses are built without the fancy tech, without the funnels, and proving your messaging and validating your messaging and getting clients in the door before you create all of those assets will make all of those assets work so much better. And it's actually very easy to validate your messaging and to get clients in the door simply through doing good work, talking about the work you do with the people around you, starting to get some traffic and momentum organically through that, and continuing to build your credibility by doing good work for more people. And the simple basics of business, it comes down to relationships. Relationships lead to revenue. So the more people on a daily basis that you can tell what you do and why you do it, the more people all of a sudden are going to know that's what you do, and they're going to tell everyone that they know you're the go-to. That's how you build a brand. It's not about how great you look online, how fancy things are, how phenomenal your sales page is. It's about doing good work, having credibility, having great client results, and really understanding what your North Star is, which means what is your mission, and working backwards from there, and what do you actually need? What do you actually need for your business to be quote unquote successful? Because that is personal to every single person. What does a successful business look like for you? What does a successful life look like for you? Defining that is gonna help you decide if something is a yes or a no, and if you need to be all the places. So anyways, I hope this landed, and I hope that it provided some light bulbs. I think it's kind of a full circle moment for me, and part of why I wanted to share this is that, 7 years ago when I'm sitting in my little apartment with a window and a webcam, not too opposite from this, I didn't know what to expect. And I went into everything as an experiment, but I knew that part of the reason I was doing this was to create time for the things that really mattered in my life. And as I've gotten older and as I have more life experience, all that matters to me is feeling at peace and seeing the people that I love as much as possible and taking good care of myself and being the healthiest version of myself. And so with those being a part of the outcome I'm trying to create for myself, pairing that with my mission of elevating experts so that they can create their own success ripples in the world and make their own impact, if things don't align with those two factors, they're a no for me. And it makes it real easy to make decisions. It makes it really easy to decide that certain things just aren't for me, and that's okay. And it also makes it very easy to live in a place of abundance and know that I don't need to be everywhere, and I don't need everybody's attention in order to feel whole and fulfilled. I just need to focus on the things that actually matter to me and to the business. Think through what matters to you. Think through what you want to do. Think through the legacy and the impact you want to create. Think through what's important to you. And then really look at what you're currently doing right now. And if that's serving that purpose, and what it's actually doing for you in your business, and cut and subtract the things that aren't supporting that mission. Because the more you do that, the more you have the space and time to support the mission. Hopefully this helps. Are you with me? Deep breath. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.